Okay. Yeah, you can start the session, sir.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone here. This session is about agentic AI transforming autonomous systems. So, I'll start with a little introduction on the topic, and also I will talk about the past generations of system development, and after that, I will move into agentic approaches. So let us start there. We are going to discuss first, we will like to discuss about the traditional kind of system. What the traditional, it may be AI or non-AI system. From the very initial stage, what we used to do, we used to develop programs for every purpose. So our systems used to be a collection of programs which are interconnected and which used to support the system. Now, problem with these programmed systems are a lot. First of all, it is rule based. Rule based means you have to tell every step, every rule of the game. So if you even do a small number of steps, you have to mention what exactly needs to be done in what sequence and in what manner. So everything has to be correctly written, otherwise the system will fail. And secondly, the system is not flexible. It is generally very rigid kind of system. You can try to make it flexible by putting a lot of codes, but again, that becomes very costly. Now, after that, there was AI models which came. We started working on machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, transformers, and so on. And later, we came to a stage where we started using the LLM and SLMs. LLM stands for large language model, and SLM stands for small language model. Now, in case of LLMs, which were said to be as traditional AI, there was some difficulty again. It was very reactive kind of system where you will ask questions or you will ask it to do something using prompts, and it will try to complete the tasks. Rather, it will not complete the task. Rather, it will try to give a response against your prompt. And that may be preparing an image, maybe generating some text, maybe informing you about something. It may be anything. But the thing is that every time you have to ask question, and these questions are going to be responded by the traditional the chatbots, which I'm calling as traditional AI. So here the problem is that basically they were reactive, and secondly they couldn't do tasks one after another. That means such system were good for chatting, but not for automating a system. Later, we started making workflows. Making workflow is not a very modern thing or very latest kind of technology. We used to make workflow during our program generation program writing stage also. In those days also, we still write programs and we need programs to write. But with the advent of agentic, these LLMs, it has started helping us in solving many problems with their own intelligence. As you understand that these LLMs, rather these models are quite intelligent. They would understand your intent and they can uh, respond to an extent which you require. And there are many techniques of prompt engineering which you can adopt and get better responses. That is a different thing, but mm, these LLMs are good for creating required desirable responses. And these these systems or chatbots could be extended to something which used to say we normally call agentic system or agentic AI. I'm coming to that, but these terms let us go through the definition. Um, traditional AI systems are designed to be task specific, reacting only to predefined inputs. They lack the ability to learn or adapt beyond their initial programming. That was the initial stage, but later this was quite improved, and the fine tuning could be done on LLMs, and we can make them better. But earlier system, as I said, the programmed systems were rule based. And rule based systems, you will have to describe all and every step one after another. If there is a mistake, then the entire system goes for a toss. In agentic AI, in contrast, agentic AI systems exhibit autonomy and can proactively interact with their environment. They adapt to new situations, making decisions based on evolving goals and data inputs. This is very important. We are going to discuss this in detail. Now let us come to the second slide. Here also I have compared the same thing. Here is the traditional AI, reactive and rule-based, task-specific, human prompt required. That means you have to give a prompt, and limited memory and adaptability. That means it cannot learn from, generally, it doesn't learn from what you have said. But modern AI, these chatbots like ChatGPT or Gemini can definitely learn from the existing conversations. They can keep it in the context and they can learn from the conversation itself. In agentic AI, it's a multi-step planning. There are a lot of you have a goal setting, you have planning and reasoning. This is a very important thing. That means every time uh, when you start a agentic workflow, it can really go through. It can plan its own path, how it will behave like, and then it will let me complete. Somebody is uh, creating these lines. Minakshi. Let me complete my slide first, and then you can ask questions to me. I will answer your questions. So, so in a agentic,
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Minakshi Shoma Bala, you will be removed from the class. Sir, you can continue.
yes. So basically, what is happening? You set the goals, you start a workflow, and in the workflow, there is a brain which works in the background. It plans and executes the tasks which are supposed to be completed, and it will give the end response to you. So you can do multi-step planning. it's a kind of autonomous system, self-directed, and you can add memory to the system where you may basically it helps you to remember the previous responses and frame the future responses. This is the way agentic AI works. Coming to the next slide, is the uh, third slide of this particular section and the last slide. After that, I can take questions. So, how do we distinguish? The main distinguishing features, if we consider, there are two things, two key matters which makes the difference. First is decision-making capabilities. Traditional AI typically relies on rule-based systems, responding predictably to input. In contrast, the agentic AI demonstrate autonomous decision-making abilities, where adapting to which and adapting to the complex situation it faces. So it also involves a learning approach. That means the more you proceed with the workflow, it automatically learns from the system the previous steps, what is going on, and then it starts generating the responses. So up to here, this is what I have explained. Now, if you have some questions, I can really take it. Let me come to it. If you have questions, please ask. Let me explain it. Any questions so far? It appears there is no question. So let me proceed then. I will show you some more theoretical things. Then I will show you a demonstration, how it works. So till that time, you have to wait. You have to keep your patience. So we'll go through the agentic AI concepts. So what is agentic AI? Agentic AI is a AI system, AI-based system that can independently plan, decide, take actions to achieve goals with minimum human guidances. This is the system which can be called as agentic system. So there are multi steps. There are question of it can actually plan if you require. It can take decision. It can take action. We'll come to that how it happens. So important features of agentic AI is goal-oriented behavior, ability to plan steps, autonomous decision making, taking actions without instructions. This is important. It can take actions without instruction even. That means it doesn't require to be programmed because LLM is acting as a brain, so it decides what to do, and it does. Memory of past actions and outcomes are stored in the system, and it can learn from the feedback and experience. First, I will take you through, in this demonstration, I'm going to demonstrate the whole matter now. So I will take you through each of these things. Okay. So right now I'm going to use simple LLM, that is ChatGPT. So I'm taking a particular case. Okay. Here. I will show you first. I have actually, let me show you the specific file which I am using. This is the file I am going to use. This file contains date, shift, machine, product, defect type, quantity produced, defect count, operator, and production line. So this particular Excel file is created in a production environment where there are lots of machines running, machines are running. There are operators who are operating these machines, and certain products are being produced, or some outcomes are being, products are being manufactured, and these, after the manufacturing or the operation is over, we are trying to check the quality of the result, and then we try to mark them whether they are acceptable or to be marked as defective. Okay, so the defect count is produced here, defect count, right? And you see, this is the date, shift, machine, bearing, this is the product which is being produced, the type of defect which has been registered, and then the quantity produced is this much, total quantity produced, and number of defective outcomes are 44. The operator's name is Deepa, and the production line is line 3. And there are 200 such information which are existing in this particular file. Now, you see, this file I have uploaded in the system. Here, I have uploaded the system. This particular file. You can check this file and see what is happening. So, this same file I have uploaded. Now, you see, just one second. I have asked a question. Can you please analyze the Excel file and generate the important insights from there? So it has generated a lot of data. Like total quantity produced is this much units. Total defects is so many. Overall defect rate is this much. Total downtime is this. And a lot of summarized data has been produced. Defect rate has been given. Best performing machines have been noted. These are the best performing machines where defect rate is very less. And which shift has worked in a more efficient manner. This information has been produced. And a lot of similar information has been produced. I'm not taking you through the entire details because we are going to do the same thing with Agentic AI. So I'm going to show that also. Now, you see, there are charts which are being produced. It can produce charts also. So an LLM itself is a very powerful thing which can read a particular file and then generate very important or informative reports which are useful to the user of these. Now, how what is the difference in case if I use an agentic kind of system? Let me show you. So, in case of LLM or ChatGPT, I had to prompt it. Okay. So I had to prompt it and then it produced those reports. So you have to think about the prompts, you have to supply the data, and then it responds to your question or the request one after another. What I am doing here now is that I am using Telegram. The same thing I will do with Telegram. There is a test defect manager, you can see. I'm giving an instruction to it. Send defect report. Let us see what it does. Doing something must here. It has sent an alert into the same system to myself, assuming that I am the operator. So overall defect rate is 73%. If you look at this thing, this is 73%. Same result I have seen. Worst machine is M11. That means this machine needs to be monitored. Most common defect is crack, and problematic shift is B. So it has produced this particular alert to me. Interestingly, it has also sent an email to me. Let me show you. It has sent an email to me. Let me open my. You see, defect report for today. So what it has produced, it has sent a kind of report to me through email, and it has produced a beautiful report which talks about everything, all the total production, whatever we were seeing there. Good output is so much, defect rate is so much, which is normal. Machine affected unit is so and so. Recorded defects, and these are all information. Then it has sent some operational observation that production output remains stable with no breach of critical defect threshold. Machine M11 should be monitored closely for recurring surface cracking tendencies. Shift VB shows that associated defect event and should be reviewed for process consistency. So these observations have been sent. Defect analysis has been made. It has said that it is a normal kind of situation. Shift B has been isolated for monitoring, and it has sent some recommendations. Now, let me show you what is happening in the background. This is very important. So I'm going to take you through the main workflow, which is working in the background. So whatever you have seen on the surface, I am using Telegram messaging bot as a client and sending it to a workflow, sending my command to a workflow, and the rest of the things are being done by the workflow itself. So this is the send defect chat. Okay. This is not the one. Let me show you. So send defect report. This one. So you can see this is the workflow which is working in the background. So how it works? It takes that there is a Telegram trigger which is working behind. Then it first checks whether the command which has been issued, whether that is correct or not. I will show you one interesting thing. Like if I say, how are you? You will get no response. you will not get any response from there. Okay. But only if you send this particular command, send defect report, it will send you the response. I'm repeating it. Once again, I'm repeating it. So it has sent the thing once again. Now, notice one thing. Last time, the alert which had been sent was looking different. This is the kind of alert you got. Here, the alert is different. It has been designed in a different way. The actions which have been mentioned here, the same thing has not been mentioned. It is mentioned in a different way. So that is happening because LLM will produce consistent result, but you cannot force it to follow rule. You can definitely say that you have to follow certain rules, but every response will follow exactly the same pattern. It may not happen so with LLMs. That is one thing which is there truth which is true with LLMs, but not true with programmed kind of way. If you had a programmed kind of workflow, rule-based workflow, then every time you will get the same alert in the same way. Okay, not in different manner. Now, so as I said, so it will initially validate whether you have sent the correct command or not. And then it will take a decision. If the command is correct, then it will read the file. It will try to read the file. Okay. And extract the information from the file. So, what is happening here? You see, extract from the file. There are two things which are there. Read write files from the disk. This is the reading of the Excel file. Then converting it in extract the information from there and convert it into JSON. How it converts? Let me show you what it has converted. Let me show you exact whatever has been actually executed. So it has generated this JSON response. This JSON response. Okay. Once this response has been, this particular JSON data has been generated, then it has uploaded it into a table automatically. So this table has been uploaded. So the entire data has been uploaded in this table. You will see the same data is existing here. Okay. After uploading the data, it will follow some code on JavaScript. Now, what it does, it actually generates a summary of this data, whatever has been generated. Let me show you what has been generated here. So here, it generates a summary, one-line summary. One-line JSON summary. Okay. From this summary, it generates the report. One part of the report has been sent to the Telegram itself. Let me make it bigger. The Telegram itself here, and the other part has been converted into a report, and the report has been sent through mail, which I have received, which I showed. This report. Now this report, you see, this report looks different from the previous report, which was generated earlier. The same report has been generated. You see, the report content is also slightly different, but more or less the same information has been given to you. Okay, so this is an example of a workflow which I'm executing through by using an application called N8N, which I will talk about in the next part of the lecture. So I hope you have understood the entire process and the difference also. In case of directly, if you use a chatbot, you have to give prompt, and based on those prompts, you get responses. But when you prepare a workflow, it will do certain tasks on its own, which may be pre-programmed or which may be automatically generated or automatically decided by the LLM. Here I am using ChatGPT itself. Okay, OpenAI models. I will show you. You see GPT 5.4 mini I am using. So you will be using LLMs and you generate the reports. You don't have to write the programs for generating these reports. Okay. So it will generate a report here for the Telegram in a different format, and in a different format, it has generated a report for the uh, mail purpose. And this is the command I have already given. This is the entire instruction for the generation of the report which has been sent to the mail. Okay. So that's up to here. Now, if you have questions, you can ask again. I will give you some time to ask some questions to me if you require more clarification. Somebody has asked, how much does API cost in case of these types of workflow? First of all, N8N is free, and API also you can get free. I will tell you how to get APIs free. Somebody is asking that, can you please type defect report instead of send defect report? Will it work? It will not work because I mentioned that send defect report is the driving command or the triggering command which will run the workflow, which will trigger the workflow. So if you write something else, it may not generate. It will not generate. Okay, that's the answer. Let me clarify that it is up to you. If you tell the LLM to understand the intent and send the report, then you can try any prompt. See, depends on how you have actually designed the workflow. In this case, I have actually designed it in such a manner that it listens to only one command. But I can definitely do it in a manner that it will be flexible enough to understand your intent based on the kind of command you are giving. Suppose you say send report, you may say send defect report, or you may send defect report for today. Whatever you send, it will give you the answer. I will share the way you should be using the free APIs. So that I am going to do. I will surely do that. You do not need my API keys. You can generate your own API keys and you can actually work with it. So I will provide you. What is the role of JavaScript part? See, basically these workflows are, although they are no code or low code type, these workflows, if we look, let me share once again the screen. Mm, this, let me share the screen. These workflows are mostly low code. That means you do not have to code. But there are some places you may have to write small snippets of codes. So there you can use JavaScript as a programming language or Python as a programming language. This is true for N8N. N8N understands JavaScript and Python. I have never used Python successfully. So generally JavaScript is the best way to code in N8N. And let me tell you another very big secret that I do not know JavaScript. I always get it written by the LLMs. That means ChatGPT or Gemini. So it helps me to get these codes created. I actually know Python very well, but I am not good at JavaScript coding. But I have written these codes. So these codes are without knowing the actual method of programming, still I can work. So programming is not a problem today. So I hope I have answered most of your questions. So let me take you to the next part of the this presentation, where I will talk a little bit more about the agentic AI. Then I will take you to the next section, next half of the section, which is about N8N, how to use N8N. So coming to, we have we have spoken about agentic AI. We have actually understood what is agentic AI, but we have not yet come to the main point, which what is an agent. So let us understand agent. AI agents are software entities that observe their environment, make decisions, and act autonomously to achieve a specific goal. Now, let me tell you what is an agent. Suppose you have a friend who does certain things for you. You can call him as an agent of you. You have seen that there are ticketing agent who are existing, like you have a person assigned for doing your all ticketing works. You have to get flight tickets and other things. So you will appoint an agent for that. But you can instead create a software agent or AI agent to do the entire thing. So agent here, I mean, these are software entities that observe their environment, make decisions, and act autonomously to achieve specific goals. That means you will just ask him to do something. You will send the basic input to start the work, and the rest of the work will be done by the agent itself. The software itself, it is like a function. Okay. is like a function which will do a lot of things without disturbing you or without every time asking you what to do. Okay. Now, let us look at this diagram. Here, just so here, what is happening? I'm showing the section of a. Uh, Basically, it is a kind of diagram which shows what is there in an agent normally. So there is a main decision-making object or component which is there is the LLM, which acts as the brain, understands the goal, plans, executes, and orchestrates. So you have already seen that I have been giving prompts to the chat GPT and it was executing my prompt. And it was doing a lot of things. Okay. But it was only responding to the prompt. But here you can, in an agent, you can attach tools. These are the tools you can attach, like I am using some JSON converter or language translator or web searching tool or Java processing tool, data processing tool or code execution tool. You have seen so many different tools are being used, and you can attach a memory which will store the conversations ongoingly. It will store some amount of data for creating the context, to storing the context. That is how the agent is built. There are three main sections. One is the LLM, which is the middle section here I'm showing. And then the tools which are there. These tools are basically the limbs of a human being. Like you have hands and legs where you can run, you can go somewhere, you can use your hands to pick up something, you can write those things, you can use your eyes to view something, you can use your ears to listen to something. Here also, you can have different tools, like you can even attach a camera which will send you, which will take pictures, which will generate images. Those tools may be attached. And you need to have a memory because memory is very important. If you don't have a memory but you have a brain, you cannot function even because you don't remember in what steps you are actually doing what. Previous steps are not remembered. If the previous steps are not remembered, then the brain becomes very dumb kind of brain. It you won't be able to use it in a proper manner. So you need some memory to store your information which are ongoingly being created by the LLM or in different steps of the process you are trying to solve. Okay. Now, let me come to the next slide. It is the same thing I'm showing. Perception. Here, the perception is nothing but the sensory organs in case of human. Like you have a camera in case of a robot. You have a microphone, internal microphone, which receives all the sounds from outside. You may scan the filters, scan the information which you are reading, or you may supply through keyboards. You may prompt directly, like I was prompting through the chatbot. Then in the next part, there is a reasoning module which actually takes decision. You have a memory module which stores the information, intermediate information, and you have tools attached, actuators and executions, which actually takes the actions. I hope this part, the agent, is clear to you. Now let us come to workflow. A workflow is a clear sequence of connected steps, shows how a task moves from start to finish to achieve a specific goal. Now here I am showing a workflow. Let us show another slide. This slide is more meaningful. I'm talking about a manual workflow here where I am showing a processing of paper documents. So you suppose you are actually sending leave applications. So you are receiving leave applications to the you are sending leave application to HR department. In the HR department, there is a reviewer who looks into the application. He checks for completeness of the data and then sends it to the second reviewer who actually looks into your leave records and checks whether you are really eligible to get any leave or not, and decides whether to approve the leave or to disapprove the leave or reject the leave. And if it is approved, then the leave record is updated and the physical application is stored somewhere. Okay. Then you get some kind of response from the office that your leave have been approved or rejected, or what to do about that. This is the same workflow where I am using agent. I am actually submitting the document in as an up. I am uploading the document. Here I am basically collecting the document into a folder. Then an agent looks into the folder and um then it reads the folder content, generates, checks for completeness, which I mentioned, and then it sends it to the AI decision agent, the decision making agent who looks into the leave records or whatever it has to look into, checks other factors, and then he rejects and approves the leave or the specific request, and digital signature is created for the agent and it is stored. And if it is rejected or approved, whatever happens, the response is sent back to the feedback agent, which receives the entire thing. This workflow I am going to show you on N8. This entire work. I will give you some hint how it looks like. I will send the leave application through a particular account. Some employee will send a leave application. The manager receives the application in another account. He approves, and this particular other one who has sent the application, submitted the application, will receive the response and whether it is information, whether it is rejected or approved. I will show you when I will show you the N8N demonstration, right? So for now, you just keep this in mind. What is a workflow? And this is a kind of workflow where you start, it's a series of tasks, one after another. And in between, you can attach agents who would do certain tasks. Every agent has some kind of function. It will do its own function and move it to the next agent to do the next part. So this is a agentic workflow I'm talking about. Okay. Now let us come to agentic systems. What is an agentic system? Now, if you have lots of workflow, suppose you consider a regular HR department. They are not only accepting leave application, they are also accepting employment application, like they're advertising for resources. They will get application. These application needs to be sorted in certain way, shortlisted. Then it needs to be these candidates needs to be called for interview. All these things can be done through Agentic's workflows. This may not be one single workflow, it will be multiple workflows connected to each other. They are integrated to each other. So, this way, the entire system runs. Okay. So, that is the thing. So, the entire workflow runs. You start the workflow, and which triggers another workflow, and that triggers another workflow. The series of workflows are triggered one after another, and it completes the job. Okay. So this is a kind of agentic system I am talking about. Now I'm going to ask you some question. I will rather take questions to answer if you have anything about, if you have. Nick bypass bot. This is a, I don't know how this bot is working. I have shown you the bot which works for me. This is driven by N8N, which is working behind. Any questions so far? You can ask me if you have any questions. I would like to answer them. You have 5 minutes. Then we'll take a 5 minutes break. So you are understanding what I am telling about? Okay, that's good. So we can meet after another 5 minutes. Let us take a break for 5 minutes. Then we'll jump into the exciting part of the entire session, which is N8N. I will give you first explain what is N8N, how it works, what are the some idea about N8N application. Then I will show you some demonstration that I hope you will enjoy. Okay, let me meet after another 5 minutes. It is uh, 7:58. Let us meet exactly at 8:10. Okay. So I have come back. Uh, Let me wait for 1 more minute if anybody is missing from here, and then we can again start talking about N8N.
Sir, one question is there.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
If a subtask during the workflow fails, can the agent self-correct and revise the plan without terminating the entire workflow? Yes, it can happen. It can happen. You can make it fail safe. But the system needs to be designed in that way. It should be able to check whether the task is correctly executed or not, and it should be able to self correct. Traditional automation. As I mentioned, the traditional automations were done using writing uh, lots of programs which are related to each other. These programs were kept in one folder. Then you can make folders full of programs, and they are all interconnected. One calls another programs. But whenever you are trying to write some program, there is a risk that it if something happens which is not mentioned in the program, like you, as I mentioned, that if you have these programs are all rule based. If it fails to adapt a particular rule, suppose it is encountering a particular situation which you have never thought of, and you have never programmed about that particular specific task has not been programmed. In that case, what will happen? It will either skip it or it will fail to produce any result, and it will simply, the program will be, entire workflow will be stalled. Whereas an intelligent workflow can recover from, if it faces some unknown kind of situation, or uh, then it can actually say that I'm facing something which I cannot really solve. If it is such a situation, in most case, if like if you have sent some kind of, as I mentioned, no, that in the chat you have mentioned, send me the defect report. It's in English language. Okay. So what will happen? It will definitely, if the system is rule based, it will not be able to understand. But if it is a LLM based system, it should be able to understand. I will show you a very good mm, demonstration on this. I will really show you a demonstration, which will make this part very clear to you. Let me take you to my screen, N8N screen, uh, not this one. Let me show you another interesting workflow. There is a project bot. Okay. This project, suppose I have a project which is running somewhere, and I have a background, like I have, we are mentioning, we are maintaining the project in a MS project kind of application. I will show you the specific application which is there. Mm, like this is a project which is running in the background, so software project. Okay. It has so many tasks, like 25, 30 tasks are there. You have the task name, duration, start to finish, specific, uh, uh, which is the previous one, dependency here. Dependency is mentioned here. And the resources attached, how much they are complete. All these information are in this particular document. Now, this document is the source of information. Now, I am going to ask some question about this, based on this. Like, what is the name of the project? You see, the name of the project has been shown as detailed software project. Let me ask this question in a different way. What is the name of the project? So, you just thought. So, this question is different from this question. Okay. But the answer will be same. You see, the answer is same. Let me ask it. What are the tasks? Okay, how many tasks are there? How many total tasks are there in this project? I am asking this question using plain English. There are 30 total tasks. Can you list these tasks? Can you list the tasks that exists in the project? It will list out all the tasks. It didn't answer. Let me ask it twice again, once again. This time, I have not, here my mistake was, can you list? I'm asking this time, list the tasks that exist. You see, all the 30 tasks have been noted. If I ask, can you tell me who is the Prime Minister of India? If I ask this question, do you think it will answer my question? Let us see. It is saying that I can't determine that from the provided project data. This is not part of the project data. So you can see that it can actually intelligently answer all your questions, which should be available from the document. So why this kind of workflow is important? This is important because this application itself is a complicated application. It cannot be understood by everybody. Okay. One who actually understands project management, he will be only able to understand what it to read this kind of application. So often the the top executives who only are interested about certain information about the project, they will like to have a chatbot of this kind so that they can ask simple questions to that chatbot. It will be able to answer the questions. Otherwise, he would have to get that particular man who is maintaining this particular software, this project management, MS project, project details. Then he has to be called, and then he needs to be asked all these questions. He will look into his data and answer all of these. Here, the workflow does that entirely. That is the difference. I hope I could uh, show you something very interesting. Let me ask you a few questions. Did you get what I mentioned here, what I tried to demonstrate? Assuming that you have understood everything, let me now take you to some theoretical part of what is N8N. Okay, that's the main objective of this session. Why we are actually okay. So developing N8N workflows, the practical guide to automation. So what is N8N basically? N8N is an intelligent workflow automation application. You develop smarter, not harder, low code kind of AI integration. You do not need to know much of programming. A little bit of programming will help. Absolutely no programming knowledge would probably it will be difficult for using this particular app, but a little bit of programming knowledge will definitely help you to understand the thing. So it can use AI powered nodes. It's a low code or no code interface, self hosted or cloud. There are two options. You can self host yours in your own machine, which I am doing. You don't require any extra price for that. You can also run it on cloud, which N8N company provides. They will take a bit of subscription for that, probably $20 a month. But you can avoid that. And it is very stable kind of application. Generally, I have never seen it to be failing. And it can do a lot of things. So what it can do? First of all, when you start working with N8N workflows, what you actually do on N8N is creating workflows of different kind. And these, let me show you exactly on the application itself. This is a very small workflow. Only one agent is there, AI agent. Okay. Now let me attach is some kind of trigger, chat trigger, chat, new chat event. So I am attaching a new chat event. This is working as the trigger. So every workflow needs a trigger to start that workflow. Okay. So once you have started the workflow, this particular workflow, what it does, it allows you to chat with that particular application. You start this workflow with a chat. So now in this, when you send some kind of message, like if I message, what happens? It reads the message and sends it to the next part. So how it did? So here it has, when I have started I have given this particular, I have said hello, this is the chat input which is received. Now this chat input is fed to, this chat input is supposed to go into this agent. Okay. Now agent, in an agent, let me remove these all, remove all these. I will attach a model. As I mentioned that you can use some kind of, you can use a chat model which is, which you do not have to buy or purchase. You don't have to subscribe, which is open router. Open router. You see, there is an open router chat model. You can use this. It doesn't require any kind of fees. And you have to create a credential. Here is the credential. When you create an account in Open Router, they will provide you an API key. This API key needs to be provided here. Once you have provided that, you need to attach some kind of model. Now, among these, there are some models which are free, available free of cost. Like I can use DeepSeek. So I can use DeepSeek version 3.2. Okay. Now I am using simple memory for this. I am attaching some memory. Then I am using SERP API. SERP API. Why I am using this? Because here also you can create a free account from SERP API. Yeah. You can use a free account from SERP API and provide the API key over here in the place which is required. Every time you will be asked to create a credential where you need to put your API's key. Okay. You see here I have put an API key again. For the LLM part also, I required an API. For SERP API also, I required an API key. Okay. Now, once you have done this, I can now ask some important question. Like I can ask the same question. Who is the Prime Minister of India. If you want some other country, then I can put that also. Okay. We have to understand how it works. So I'm giving this. Is looking into the chat model, trying to get the answer, but it looks into the SERP API once again. Then it comes back to the open router chat model, and then it comes and provides you the answer. Shri Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of India. Now, let me give you another interesting thing. I will attach a calculator tool. Okay. Instead, I will attach calculator. You can attach various kinds of tools. Calculator. Yes. Now I'm going to ask it what is the square root of 51, not 50 or 25 or something, which is, I'm giving it 51. So let me see what it does. It will try to answer the question. But it has to give you an answer. It's still trying to get the answer. Now it has found an answer, and it used this tool, calculator tool. You see, it has used this and it has generated a response. Now, if you look at the entire process of chatting, it first went to the simple memory to store the questions. Let me show you one thing, that in the simple memory, by default, it stores 5 chat messages. Okay, previous chat messages have been stored. Now, that means it is storing all these messages which I am sending. It has gone to the open router chat model. Then it went to the calculator. It said that I cannot do it. So again, this response have been stored in the simple memory. Then it went to the chat model once again. So chat model, this time it asked the same question in a different manner. Okay. Since it didn't answer the previous question, it has thought in its mind how to get the answer. Here too also it didn't answer. It tried twice. Now again it came back. Let us see what it did. Let me try a different approach to calculate square root of 51. This time it responded properly. What was the approach? It didn't mention probably, or the details are here. Actually, what it did, I know from the previous conversation, previous trials I am knowing, that it actually multiplied, or rather it squared with 0.5. That means 51 to the power half. That is how it calculated the square. But interesting thing to watch that this calculator is not perfect for doing this kind of calculation, but it did make use of that. It tried thrice, and in the third time it actually brought out the result. That needs to be noted. Okay. So this is an AI agent which has, as I said, this is the brain, this is the chat memory. You can have different types of memory attached to this. And then you have two tools. One tool, this tool looks into the, this is SERP API basically looks into the web and finds information. Like if I ask it, just let me ask a different question. What is the temperature in Kolkata today? Now see how it works. It will not go into the calculator tool. Rather, it will go into the SERP API tool. You see, SERP API it has. And SERP API has returned very cryptic kind of information to, and then it has given a descriptive information, detailed information about the temperature, the climatic situation in Calcutta. Here is the complete weather conditions. But that is how it works. Okay. Now coming back to the particular agent, sorry. So when I'm using N8N, we require some triggering condition. So it can be a manual trigger, it can be a form. You may fill up a form, you may chat, you start with a chat, as I am doing here. You may use a webhook. I will explain webhook separately. It can be a scheduled task, cron. It can be an app event like I'm sending a message through Telegram or I'm receiving a mail. That can be a specific event. Okay. Now, what is a webhook? Webhook is nothing but you are using the workflow as an API. You are using some kind of front end, like you probably have an app which connects to the workflow and receives information from there. So the request which comes in, it's a webhook trigger. Okay. If you use webhook, I will show you sometime later in a project. If you want to use webhook, I will explain how to use it. For the timing, just remember these are the triggers. These are the ways you start a particular workflow execution. Now you can have different other nodes, like you may use LLM nodes like OpenAI, Google Gemini, and to Claude, or you may attach an Olama, Azure OpenAI. There are plenty others, like I've been using Open Router, right? Then you will be using some kind of memory to store the context or history, because every time I'm asking some question, These questions are recorded. The responses are also recorded. And then the overall thing is read, understood by LLM, and the next response is formulated. Now, these are the tools which are there. Like you can have an HTTP request tool. What is this? If you want to call an external API, like or external web service, which is different from N8N, then you can use that. So you will be sending some HTTP request. Or you may send some kind of custom code. You can use a custom code. These are known as actions. These are actions, right? So these are this is an N8N agent node. An agent contains LLM, memory, and tools. And these are the action nodes. You will need to take some actions, different kind of actions, like you may need to work with Slack, you may need to send emails, you may need to send messages through Telegram, you may use Twilio, you may use Discord, you may read a Google Sheet, you may read from Google Drive or Amazon Cloud. Okay. You may use variety of sources for input, variety of sources you can send your output. Okay. So you may send information into different kind of destinations, like into Google Drive or in Outlook or a mail, as I have sent. You may use this directly. You may require to use a particular model to execute something. So you may use AI agent, or you may use directly OpenAI models or Claude models or Gemini models, whatever models you want to use. You may connect to GitHub. So different types of nodes are available. You have to work on N8N to get this experience, to develop your experience. Okay. Unless you actually work on N8N and you test uh, different kind of workflows until you make them and test, you won't be able to learn it properly, because a lot of information you have to provide. Like you have to provide the API keys. You may have to set some particular you may have to do some settings at different level. So all these things you need to do for each of these nodes. So you have to work with that particular application and each of these nodes separately. Then you develop the experience, and it comes with your uh, testing. You learn by testing. Let me take some questions now. If you have some kind of, if you require, if you need, how is an agentic workflow different? This is, I have already answered. So what are the new questions you will like to ask me? I already demonstrated one or two agents, one or two workflows. You must have understood something from there. You may have a lot of questions. So let me see. I think, oh, there are a lot of questions with this side. Can I make workflow like this? 300-page PDF, split it into chunks. Yes, you can definitely do so. You can do so. You will be using some kind of vector database. That means you are talking about a RAG application. You will be using some kind of conversion into chunks. There is a node available for that. And then from there you read and summarize information. You must be familiar with Notebook LM. You can make a Notebook LM-like thing on N8N also. Is the memory we use every volatile or non-volatile? It depends. You may use a non-volatile memory, like you may store these conversation into a database. This database can be a Postgres SQL database. It can be, there are plenty of, I can show you some options. Let me show you exactly what is available. Uh, like if I remove this memory and if I try to add one, you see there is a simple memory. There are MongoDB chat memory, Postgres chat memory. These are all non-volatile type. Redis chat memory. These some of these I have used. This is the most used. This is a this is a volatile memory. This the entire information is stored into in the memory itself, and it will go away with once you stop the workflow. But if you want to store it for permanent or for logging or for future uh, logging or some kind of mm, record purpose, if you want to store those information, so you may use one of these: MongoDB, Postgres, Redis. These are the options. Okay. Yes. Comet perplexity, I think it can be used. It can be used. You need to check. I've never used, but I have used Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek. These different LLMs I have used. Anything else you will like to ask me? Is there any free tools like N8N to do these workflows? Not required at a greater level, but up to some extent. You can use N8N. It is free of cost, available free of cost. Why should you go use something else? N8N is the best starting, I think, best way to N8N is a very easy kind of yeah, application. So you can use that application, right? Just 1 second. Let me. So you can try N8N. N8N, I'm teaching N8N here, and I will provide you all information related to how to install N8N in your machine. There are multiple ways. And these processes are quite easy. So you can try out N8N itself, and it is very easy to learn N8N. And lots of resources are available on YouTube. Even. I will send you some YouTube resources also. Let me show you another interesting demonstration. Okay, this is the scientific report I've already shown you. Leave application system. Okay, there's a leave application system. I'm going to demonstrate this. This is also driven by EA. Sorry. What happened? At times, leave applications. Right. This application also works on Telegram. So there are two bots here. One is leave application bot. There's a N8N leave application bot. There's a leave approval. So I am sending a message to my manager. Okay. I need leave for 5 days. Let me see. Saying that your application is incomplete. You have not provided all the data. So let me give the proper message to my manager. This time I'm going to give a complete information. I need leave for 5 days starting from, say, 6/6/2026. This is a spelling mistake. I will keep this spelling mistake. I'm not going to correct it. My name is Santanu. My employee ID, I have to give the employee ID. One, three, four, five. And I need to visit my hometown. So I wrote a long application. What happens? Your application has been accepted and the approval what has received the application. So where is this approval bot? Here. You see, it has sent a proper email. Dear manager, I kindly request you to your approval for 5 days leave starting from 6/6 to 2026. My name is Shantanu Karmakar and my employee ID is so and so. I need to visit my hometown during this period. Thank you for your kind consideration. I say approve. And I have received. Where is my leave application? Congratulations, your leave has been approved. Okay. What happens when I don't approve the leave? Let me not like to disclose the reason why this leave, these are. So I'm sending another info. Application is accepted. And approval bot has. This time I decline. Let me see. Sorry, your leave could not be approved. For details, please get in touch of your manager. So you see how responses, appropriate responses are coming. Let me show you the workflow, how it is working. So application receiver is the trigger. This is the trigger, Telegram application receiver. It goes, checks for completeness, as I mentioned in the earlier case. It will look into the completeness of the message. If it is not complete, then it will send an incomplete application incomplete message. If it is complete, then application accepted message has been sent, will be sent to the applicant. Okay. Then here, after the application has been accepted, this message has been sent, then it forwards the message. Forwarder agent. This is another agent which forwards the message to the manager. So it creates. See, please create a message to inform the manager for leave approval with following details. These are the details which are there. And then send the message, wait for response. This is a specific message. You have seen that in the workflow here, approval, every time I'm getting these buttons also. Approve, decline. So in this case, it will send the message and wait until you get a response from there. So it gets a response, then takes the appropriate action. It sends a leave approved message or leave regret message, whatever is applicable there. So this is again a workflow which works behind, which is triggered by the message which is received from the Telegram. So that is the entire thing. I hope I have completed my. I could explain what is agentic kind of application, what are agentic AI, what is agentic AI, and I hope these demonstrations are useful to you. Anything you would like to ask me at the end? So it seems you have liked this particular session quite a lot. Am I correct? Excellent. I think you will get the recording of this session also. So if you will like to work with me in a project, you can definitely choose Agentic AI for your project. I will, mm, Vidisha, are you
Yes, sir.
there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How can I send these things? How can they are
Sir,
asking for?
you can share with me. I will forward to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask Vidisha to whatever information you will like to get from me.
Sir, yeah. So, along with today's recording link, I will share the class material as well once you shared with me.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
fine. So I am over now. I hope things are interesting for you.
Sir, one of the student asking for your email ID.
Okay, provide the email ID.
Okay, okay, okay.
Right.
No problem. Okay.
Just ask him to give the details, how reference, how yes. If he
Sure.
sends a message, you must
Yeah.
say that you are from the batch or something. Yeah,
Okay, sir. Okay.
that's all. Somebody is asking whether I help in research papers also. No, I do not help in doing researches. That is your part. But if you need agentic AI to get some results, those suggestions I can provide. That I will provide to the API keys related things. These details I will provide to. I will give to Vidisha. She will send it. Okay then. I'm.
Yes, sir. I
I
think
think
we can wrap up.
you can wrap.
Yeah, yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank
I
you, sir.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah.